Back to Dropped In. I am beyond stoked to be here with you today and share a microdose hit of magic and medicine with you. Are you ready? Today is not just another episode. This is a moment, a closing, a reckoning, a deep exhale, a closing transmission for 2025. And I want to start by saying this. I'm not a numerologist. I'm not a Chinese astrology expert. I'm not here to pretend I'm some guru who can decode every cosmic pattern with certainty. But what I'm here for, what I've always been here for, is to speak to the human experience with honesty, depth, and devotion. And if there's one thing I know to be true, it's that this past year woke something up in all of us, didn't it? 2025 has been a year, a real year. Not a surface level vision board it and call it a breakthrough year, but a year that dragged us into depths we didn't plan to visit. A year that asked us to let go, sometimes forcibly, of identities we were still gripping with white knuckles. A year that brought darkness, unease, and discomfort to the surface in ways that made so many of us whisper, "Is it just me?" No, it wasn't just you. It wasn't just your nervous system. It wasn't just your life. We have been in the year of the snake. And looking back now, that symbolism hits different. Because what has the snake done since January? Shed, release, strip away, disintegrate the identities, patterns, and protections that could never walk with us into our next era. And whether you've been conscious of it or not, you have been shedding all year long, haven't you? The snake doesn't shed what is convenient. And it certainly doesn't shed when it's convenient. It sheds because it has to. Because if it doesn't, it suffocates in its own skin. And that is exactly what 2025 forced many of us into. Maybe you felt it as a discomfort that wouldn't quiet down, a deep uneasiness in your relationships or business, old coping mechanisms resurfacing, emotional heaviness without a clear why. Patterns you thought you healed coming back online. Moments where clarity felt impossible. This was not regression. This was release. The snake has to rub itself against something in order to break the old skin open. It's not gentle. It's not cute. It's not aesthetic. It's friction. It's pressure. It's necessary discomfort. And that's what this year did for us. It created friction so the shell could crack. It brought pressure so truth could surface. It made us face parts of ourselves we've been avoiding because the next version of us requires a different foundation. This year taught us what doesn't fit anymore, what no longer feels like home, what no longer feels like truth, what no longer feels like us. And yes, it has been dark for many, quiet, confusing, disorienting, but you weren't losing yourself. You were outgrowing the version of you who survived the old cycle. You weren't falling apart. You were collecting the pieces that matter for the next chapter. The snake doesn't shed to become someone else. It sheds to become more of itself. So let's drop the metaphors for a moment. Let's drop the symbolism. For many, 2025 felt like waves of exhaustion you couldn't explain. Feeling overstimulated by life itself. Emotional swings. Wanting to withdraw. Questioning your purpose, your relationships, your direction. Sudden bursts of clarity followed by fog. A deep need for solitude. A sense of something is ending, but I don't know what yet. This is what shedding feels like. It feels like a system reboot. Your nervous system recalibrating to live in a larger capacity. This wasn't a mindset year. This was a somatic year, a cellular year. Your body has been updating its operating system so you can lead the next decade differently. Because the version of you that is stepping into 2026 needed this transition, needed the discomfort, needed the stripping away, needed the quiet, the confusion, the unraveling. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. And preparation never feels comfortable, but it always feels purposeful once you look back. And so let's talk numerology, but in a grounded way. 2026 is a 1 year. And if you've never looked into numerology before, here's the simplest way to understand it. Numerology moves in 9-year cycles. Year 1 is the beginning, a reset, a fresh doorway, the start of a fresh new chapter. Not a symbolic one, an energetic one. A 1 year represents new beginnings, clarity, identity upgrades, courageous moves, leadership, expansion, momentum, initiation, creation, claiming what's yours, leaving what isn't. A 1 year says This is the moment you stop repeating history and start creating future. And what's powerful is this: you don't step into a 1 year carrying the shells of your past. That's why 2025 had to be a year of the snake. You cannot start a 9 year cycle with old skin. You cannot walk into new beginnings with outdated identity patterns. You cannot create from authenticity while living inside a version of self that was built for survival. 2025 was the detox. 2026 is the doorway. Now let's blend this with Chinese astrology, because 2026 is the year of the horse. And the symbolism, this is where everything connects. The horse is movement, speed, freedom, momentum, power, intuition, decisive action, breakthroughs, forward motion, embodiment, leadership. If the snake dragged you into stillness, the horse pulls you back into motion. If the snake said, "Let go," the horse says, "Let go." The snake stripped you down. The horse builds you back up. Imagine what it feels like to shed what's heavy and then mount a horse. You move differently. You breathe differently. You choose differently. 2026 is not slow energy. It's not stagnant energy. It's not wait and see energy. It's movement. It's clarity. It's directional confidence. You won't be forcing momentum next year. You will be riding it. And so, what does all of this actually mean for you? It means you are not behind. You are not confused. You're clearing space. You are not lost. You're in transition. You are not stuck. Your system is updating. You are not failing. You're shedding. You are not slowing down. You are preparing for acceleration. The horse year doesn't require more hustle. It requires more coherence, more honesty, more self-attunement, more alignment, more embodiment, less noise, less overthinking, less forcing. 2026 is the year where your actions line up with your identity. Not the one you've been surviving as, but the one you've been quietly becoming. It's the year where your leadership feels clean, where your business feels spacious, where your energy feels trustworthy again. It's the year you move differently because you are different. So, as we come to a close of 2025, I want to ask you a question. And I have shivers as I share this. What skin are you leaving behind? What identity no longer fits? What belief no longer feels true? What pattern no longer feels aligned with who you're becoming? What weight are you not taking into this new 9-year cycle? Because here's the truth. Your next era isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be willing. Willing to see yourself clearly. Willing to listen to what your body has been whispering. Willing to walk toward what feels alive instead of what feels familiar. Willing to trust the momentum that's already gathering around you. 2025 was the year of ending. 2026 is the year of beginning. A new cycle, a new chapter, a new identity, a new power, a new pace, a new sense of direction. The snake stripped you down. The horse carries you forward. And I want you to feel this. You are not starting over. You are starting aligned. You are not rebuilding from scratch. You are building from truth. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into your next capacity. 2026 is not just another year. It is the first page of the next 9 years of your life. Let it feel sacred. Let it feel intentional. Let it feel like a clean slate you have earned. And you have. You've done the shedding. You've done the healing. You've done the releasing. You've done the work that nobody saw. And now you get to rise differently. Before I sign off for our final episode of 2025, I want to speak directly to the leaders who felt every word of this episode in their bones. If 2025 stripped you down, if this year forced you into clarity, honesty, and shedding, if you know you can't take old patterns into a new 9-year cycle, then I want you to hear me clearly. 2026 is not a year to do this alone. You're entering a cycle of power, momentum, direction, and acceleration. But your nervous system, your identity, and your leadership foundation have to match where you're going. That is exactly why the Heart-Wired CEO Mastermind exists. Heart-Wired isn't about forcing strategies. It's not about pumping you full of information you'll never use. It's not about burning yourself out in the name of scaling. Heartwired is where you learn to hold what you're building, where your nervous system and your next level identity actually match the size of your vision, where your capacity grows, your presence deepens, and your leadership becomes something you can trust, not something you perform. This mastermind is for the leader who feels that next chapter humming under your skin. The leader who's tired of operating from pressure. The leader who knows they're meant to lead bigger, cleaner, stronger, more anchored. The leader who wants to build sustainably, not sacrifice their peace, body, or relationships for success. Inside Heartwired, you get nervous system and capacity work that actually changes how you lead. Subconscious identity expansion so you stop self-protecting against the very things you want. Strategic mentorship that supports the growth you're ready for. A room of leaders who aren't competing. We're rising together. A space that keeps you grounded, focused, and moving forward. The embodiment to ride the momentum of this horse year with clarity and confidence. If you're listening to this and thinking, that's me, then it is you. Because here's the truth. Getting into the right room in a 1 year is everything. And Heartwired is the room built for your next 9-year cycle. This is the space where you don't just set goals, you expand your ability to hold them. You don't just grow your business, you grow yourself. You grow your leadership. You don't just accelerate. You accelerate sustainably. So if you can feel that your next era is calling, if you know that this is your moment to step into cleaner alignment, deeper presence, and higher capacity, if you know you're ready to be mentored at the level you lead, I'd love to personally invite you into the Heartwired CEO Mastermind. We begin the first week of January, and there are only a few spaces left. The next cycle begins now. Message me on Instagram with any questions that you have at the Megan Weir, or hit up the show notes to see what's available for you. Because you don't need another year of surviving, do you? You're here to lead. And Heartwired is where leaders become unshakable. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for doing this year with me. Thank you for walking through the shadows and the light. For choosing growth when it wasn't convenient. For staying in your life when it felt uncomfortable. And for being part of this community, this experience, this movement. We are stepping into something powerful together. And I cannot wait to see how you lead, move, rise, and become in 2026. I love you. I'm so damn proud of you. I'm with you. And I'll meet you in the next cycle of Dropped In. Let's grow.